1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, could I have your attention, please? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of the post-election evaluation report for the August 9th, 2022 general election. I do want to apologize that we have started a bit late, but our chief guests and our guests, any minutes now, will walk into the room, which will signal the beginning of our event this morning. Now, I want to thank you very much for your patience, and I do sincerely apologize for that late starting. Otherwise, once we start, I do promise that we'll spend about 2 hours with you. We have a very tight program that we will run for 2 hours, and we'll get everything from my colleagues and friends in the media. You'd have an opportunity to do interviews afterwards. So we really have not lost time, and I apologize for that. Thank you very much for your patience. I'm waiting for my guests who should be walking in any minute from now, which will signal the start of our program. We do have a very tight program, as I've said. We do have a few people that would come to this podium to speak to us and make mention about this report, which is an important report, an important calendar event for us. Ladies and gentlemen, our chief guests, the Honorable Attorney General and the Chairman of IEBC are walking in. Makofi tafadhali.
Good morning and Happy New Year to everyone. Our guests are here, so we should be starting soon. Once they settle, we'll request that we are all upstanding for the national anthem. We wish to appreciate the presence of the Honorable Attorney General, who is the chief guest, Mr. Justin Muturi. The IEBC Chairman is also here, Mr. Wafula Chebukati. Speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate, Her Excellency, Madam Anne Waiguru, Chairperson of the Council of Governors, Director of Public Prosecutions should be here or is coming. Registrar of Political Parties, Madam Anderito. We are also expecting His Excellency, the Governor of Nairobi, Mr. Johnson Sakaja. Her Excellency Meg Whitman, U.S. Ambassador to Kenya. Her Excellency, Madam Geiger, European Union Ambassador to Kenya, and many distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, could we kindly be upstanding for the national anthem?
Thank you very much. While we are still standing, we will have the IEBC corporate prayer, and I believe that it has been projected, or should be projected. I'll take you through the IEBC corporate prayer. Almighty God of all creation, most sovereign, pure and merciful, we are grateful for the privilege to serve our motherland. We acknowledge you to be the source of life and giver of wisdom. We seek your guidance and pray that you order our steps as we strive to deliver on our constitutional mandate. As we commit to serve our beloved country, Kenya, enable us to meet the democratic aspirations of the people of this country. Almighty God, we pray that you guide the works of our hands, that we may foster sustainable democracy in our country. Bless Kenya, bless this commission, and grant us peace, love, and unity, now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you. Let's be seated. My name is Tarifa Mtemi from IEBC, and my colleague is...
My name is James Max from NTV.
Thank you very much. We are very delighted to be your master of ceremonies or moderator this great day where we are launching the post-election evaluation report for the August 9, 2022 general election. As I mentioned earlier, I recognize the presence of our chief guests and dignitaries, and all distinguished members and invited guests, IEBC staff, IEBC commissioner. Thank you, and everyone feel most welcome. We are very happy to have you this morning. We will start with a song by Public Service Commission, just to set the climate, and thereafter we'll get straight into the speeches. Feel welcome and enjoy. Thank you.
Tusifu Mungu mwema uliyemuumba wetu, kwa maana viumbe vyote vinatoka kwake. Kwa maana viumbe vyote vinatoka kwake. Kaumba ulimwengu pamoja na mali yote, matendo yake Mungu ni makubwa kwetu. Matendo yake Mungu ni makubwa. Kaleta kiongozi Viongozi
Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia.
Earlier they had a very nice number. Tuendelee kuishi na amani kama Wakenya, na tunaomba Mwenyezi Mungu kutukinga kutokana na mambo ya fitina, ukabila na utengamano. Thank you very much and God bless you, Public Service Commission Choir. Allow me now to invite the IEBC CEO and Commission Secretary, Mr. Marijan Hussein Marijan, who is coming to make the opening remarks, and thereafter my colleague Smart will take us through the rest of the program. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome Mr. Marijan Hussein Marijan. Thank you.
Our chief guest, Honorable Justin Muturi, the Honorable Attorney General of Kenya, Honorable Kadhuri Murungi, Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Her Excellency Anne Waiguru, Chairperson, Council of Governors, Ms. Judy Lamet, Assistant Inspector General of Police, as well as the Deputy Director of Operations, Philemon Sabulei, Chairperson, County Assemblies Forum, Anthony Ngororano, Resident Representative of UNDP, Mule Mosau, National Coordinator of Election Observation Group, Bina Maseno, Executive Director, Badili Africa, Reverend Father Joseph Mutie, Chairman of the Inter-Religious Council of Kenya, our commissioners present, Commissioner Abdi Yakub Bulie and Commissioner Boya Molu, representatives of the foreign mission present, Commission staff present, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. May I first take this opportunity to thank the Almighty God for according all of us the opportunity to gather here and above all, dialogue and navigate the way forward on how the elections of this country will be managed. Indeed, God guided us through the rigorous 2022 election period and the post-election results declaration activities, including the presidential election results petition at the Supreme Court of Kenya. We give thanks and proclaim glory to God in all that transpired. Secondly, may I welcome you to the launch of the post-election evaluation report of the 2022 general election. The Constitution, under Article 884H, mandates the IEBC to conduct post-election evaluation after every general election, referendum, or by-election. Therefore, feel most privileged to learn and contribute to our discussions of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, the evaluation of any exercise calls for a candid examination and assessment of what worked and what did not work. It also gives a window to propose recommendations that will inform strategies to be employed in the next electoral cycles. In that regard, therefore, any evaluation requires objectivity and commitment as it rallies everyone to reflect on individual and collective experiences. The reflection and experiences mentioned in the post-election evaluation report remind us that a generation that does not learn from its mistake is bound to repeat them and so doomed to fail. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 post-election evaluation was conducted in a participatory manner based on the electoral cycle, the Commission's strategic plan, election operations plan, and the legal mandate.
The evaluation addressed processes and activities in the electoral cycle leading to the 2022 general election. Methodically, the 2022 general election was conducted by about 1,000 dedicated permanent employees of the Commission, assisted by over 400,000 temporary staff countrywide. They all formed part of the sample that the Commission reached out for feedback. This was besides other key electoral stakeholders at the national, county, and constituency level who were engaged as respondents during the key informant interviews, focus discussion groups, and various stakeholder forums. The report also recognizes the support by stakeholders, including the judiciary, National Police Service, and service providers who participated in the electoral process. It gives recognition to development partners who provided support that bridged financial gap in the election budget. The post-election evaluation report depicts activities done during the prescribed timeframe, specifically on the implementation of the Commission Strategic Plan 2020-2024, which has 6 precise pillars of strengthening corporate governance, strengthening strategic operations, strengthening legal framework, enhanced public outreach, effective conduct of the elections, and equitable representation. Ladies and gentlemen, this time around, the post-election evaluation has been done earlier compared to that of the 2017 general election and fresh presidential election. This will enable early implementation of the recommendations as the Commission prepares to review its strategic plan. From the evaluation, it is apparent that the Commission demonstrated its commitment in the delivery of a free, fair, and credible general election. The Commission hinged its delivery on collaboration, hence will continue to recognize and appreciate efforts by different partners. We thank you and hope that this partnership will be sustained throughout the electoral process. I also thank you, our stakeholders, for participating in the post-election evaluation. Indeed, your feedback shall inform the electoral processes going forward. The Commission shall review Strategic Plan 2020-2024 and develop the 2027 Election Operations Plan based on the findings of the report. To fellow Kenyans and the international community, I thank you for formidable support you accorded the Commission. The Commission still yearns for your continued synergies for the greater good of the country. In conclusion, the findings and recommendations of the post-election evaluation report will be shared with state agencies, development partners, and other stakeholders involved in the electoral process in Kenya to further improve the electoral process. This is a step further towards embedding democracy in Kenya through the conduct of free, fair, and credible elections. Once again, welcome to the launch of the post-election evaluation report for the 2022 general election, and we look forward to continued collaboration. Thank you, and God bless Kenya.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a better round of applause for the CEO. I think that sets the tone of what should happen today. Just to pick up from some of the things that he's spoken about this morning. He says, we're here for a reflective moment, and this is an assessment of what worked and what did not work. So feel free, be open, and this conversation does not just start now, it continues, because as he says, a generation that does not learn from its mistake is bound to repeat them. I want to recognize the presence of Commissioner Boyo and Professor Abdi Yakub Gulie, who will speak during the chairman speech as well. But for now, just to kick off our program and get our program going, allow me to invite to the podium for his reflection, Reverend Father Joseph Mutie, who's the chairman of the Interreligious Council of Kenya, IRCK, for his reflections. Makofi tafadhali kwa Father as he makes his way here.
Thank you. Allow me to begin by recognizing our Attorney General, Justin Muturi, the Chair, IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, but also stand on the protocol established or founded by the CEO and recognize every other person and institutions represented. From the Interreligious Council, we take this moment to first give thanks to God, exceptional gratefulness from our hearts for granting us this opportunity to gather here to look back and appreciate our peaceful electoral or election cycle, and at the same time cast our sight forward with optimism as we prepare to preserve the good lessons we have learned and tighten the gaps in a positive way. What we do and why from our scriptures in the Bible, Psalms 139 and verses 23 to 24 reminds us of the value of self-evaluation. The Bible says, and I quote, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxious thoughts, and see if there be any artful way in me, and lead me on an everlasting way." We wish to appreciate in a special way the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission for its steadfast efforts in conducting the 2022 general elections in accordance with the requisite law or the requirement of the law of Kenya. It was a mammoth task by all measure to conduct elections for the 6 elective positions, namely the President, the governors, senators, members of the National Assembly, county women members of and also the members of the county assemblies, and the role and the key role that they played in ensuring that it was a success. Further, the Supreme Court of Kenya heard and determined the consolidated presidential election petition, whose full judgment was delivered on the 26th of September 2022, bringing the election cycle to a close. The August 2022 general election was relatively peaceful across the country, an outcome attributed to several factors, including the judiciary, responsible political behavior by party leaders, political maturity of Kenyan citizens, and effective interventions of the peace infrastructure, notably preventive mediation at the national and sub-national levels. We thank the Commission for the evaluation of the 9th August 22 general elections, and coming up with a report being launched today. The report is clearly a culmination of an in-depth reflection on the achievements and the challenges in the last electoral cycle. We call on the Commission to pay attention to the areas of improvement highlighted in the report, and as a religious fraternity, we will continue to pray for and partner with the Commission in every effort aimed at strengthening Kenyans' democracy. The faith community will continue to join hands with the independent commissions such as IEBC, all elected leaders, the international community, and all stakeholders to spearhead national dialogue, reconciliation, healing, and electoral reforms, such as which are highlighted in this report. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I wish to recognize and appreciate the outgoing chairman, Wafula Chebukati. We know he has only a day to quit the office. We recognize and congratulate you for the work that you have done. We appreciate you. And also the two commissioners, Commissioner Gulie, Commissioner Monu, Boya, for their dedication or dedicated service to the country for the last 6 years. God will reward you for your extraordinary performance and integrity in the conduct and management of the 2022 general elections. We shall be glad to join the Commission on a future date to assess the findings of this evaluation, and after guidance from our end on how we can safeguard elections as a country and ensure that they become a routine process of our democratic heritage and not a matter of life and death as we all know it. We pray for a peaceful, cohesive, and prosperous country. And may God bless our country. May God bless us all. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Father Joseph Mutie, for your reflections. And now, keeping up with the pace, I'd like to welcome to the podium Executive Director of Badili Africa, Bina Maseno, for her reflection. Makofi tafadhali, as Bina makes her way to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. All protocols observed. To the chief guest, Honorable Justin Muturi, the Attorney General of Kenya, to the IEBC Chair and fellow commissioners, to the ambassadors who are represented here in the room, and to the Chair, Council of Governors, Honorable Waiguru, and all the distinguished guests, good morning once again. So I have very few minutes, but I'll just donate 30 seconds to ask you to look at your neighbor and tell them, I wish you a fulfilling year ahead. Just look at someone in the eyes. Some of you have not even said hello to people on your table since you came in, so I'm donating my 30 seconds. Look at someone in their eyes and wish them a fulfilling year ahead. I know we've begun the year running, but we can always take a pause. We can always take a pause. Have we done that? Thank you very much. My name is Bina Maseno, Executive Director, Badili Africa, and at Badili we cultivate the political engagement of young people and Chama women, so it's an honor to even represent grassroots women who organize in Chamas, who most of the time do not have an opportunity to sit in big forums like this and engage and share their perspective when it comes to participation in political processes. So I'll just speak to three issues today, but I'll start by, first of all, appreciating IEBC for conducting a largely peaceful election, and also for being very keen to engage young people and young women, especially in this election. We all might be aware of the Youth Coordinating Committee and the Women Coordinating Committee that was formed by IEBC to ensure that we engage the most marginalized people across the country. And I think I also want to appreciate, I think Mercy Mukeni is here, Chair WCC, and Joel Mita as well, Chair YCC. So thank you so much also to IEBC for the efforts to ensure that we leave no one behind. When I was invited to actually give just brief remarks about my observations in this election, I'll share just a brief anecdote. While we were conducting voter education across the country, and we were in one location, and we were working with Chama women who usually actually mobilize for politicians. And I remember meeting these three kids who belonged to this woman, and asking them whether they've registered to vote. So one had registered to vote but was not intending to vote.
and 2 of them had not registered to vote. And I'm saying this at the background and the backdrop of IEBC registering just about 2.5 first-time voters against 6 million, right? And we've seen in this election, even the engagement of young people has reduced because we only had about 39% of registered young people in this election, which is a decline, which is a 5% decline from the other election. And for the first time also, we've seen a decline in terms of voter turnout. In this election, we had about 64%, which is below 70%, comparing it to the 2013 election at 83 and the 2017 election at slightly 70%. So I asked them whether they intend to vote, and I asked these 2 sons who have not registered to vote, and they say, my mother has always been mobilizing for politicians for the last 2 elections, and she's not benefited. We still live the same life. We can't even go to school. We can't even afford education. Why should I engage? Why should I engage? Because for them, it was just to go and vote, but they've seen their mother, who literally does door to door. And I'm saying this to say that when it comes to voter education, I think it is very, very key, even as we conduct voter education. It's just not about someone turning up to vote, but then how do we tie their day-to-day lives? How is your life political? How is the food you eat political? We work with young people, and especially young women, and data shows us that the most disenfranchised lot in this country is actually young women between the age of 18 and 25. And even when we talk to young women, we want to show them even how is your hair political? How is even cosmetics political? In an election where we even have, during our budget processes, right? We have an increase even in cosmetics. How does that tie to you? If we don't actually ensure that young people understand how elections affect them, literally, apart from them just showing up to vote, then I think we'll continue seeing this dent in our democracy. And we'll continue seeing young people take a backseat when it comes to issues that actually affect them. Because even when you look at how people participated in terms of running for political office, which brings me to my second point, in terms of calling on institutions that are mandated to ensure that we have and comply to rules like the 2/3 gender rule. And I know we saw an increase in women's representation in this election, which is about 1% increase, ideally. And I know we're still commending the women that we've elected. But guess what? In this election, we had about 16,100 aspirants from the president to the MCA. About 14,000 were men. Only about 2,000 were women. And specifically, 1,962 were women. Not even enough to meet a third. So it means even with the women who went for office, there is no way we would have met the 2/3 gender rule. So it's to call on all the institutions that are mandated to ensure that we comply and leave no one behind. And lastly, on curbing online and physical gender-based violence. Gender-based violence continues to be a key deterrent to women participating actively in political spaces. When I even reflect on my experiences the first time I ran for political office and faced electoral violence, it still scares me today to think about just running for office again, because I don't even know if I'll have the capacity to overcome what I witnessed that time. And for especially new aspirants who don't even have a name. No one knows you. Like, if at all you are attacked and killed, you'll be collateral damage, literally. So we need to also ensure that we take gender-based violence seriously. And even on our social media platforms, we're talking about unregulated social media platforms, where hate speech, cyberbullying is disenfranchising citizens. You can't even share your opinion because you're afraid of being thrown out of social media, right? And I'm saying that to also say that let's also ensure that we are very keen on who we are leaving behind when it comes to gender-based violence. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because at Padili we did a report on gender-based violence against political mobilizers. Because many a times the program around citizens and the program around aspirants. But you don't think about the person who's putting their life on the line, for instance, to even mobilize for Honorable Waiguru here, or any other politician in the room. someone is dying with this politician, but you don't think about the impact. What does it mean when it comes to them mobilizing in an area where the political party X is not popular? So even for the stakeholders in charge of security, how do we ensure that we do not leave anyone behind in terms of us building our democracy? It will take us not working in silos, and it will take us harmonizing our efforts if we are to realize the mutual goals that we are talking about. Again, thank you so much to the chair, and also just to invite the incoming commission to ensure that we don't leave anyone behind. Thank you very much.
Well, a better round of applause for Bina Maseno. Chairman, Bina said that, hair products are political. I think you should take that a bit seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome our next speaker, Her Excellency Henriette Geiger, who's the European Union Ambassador to Kenya, to make her remarks. Makofi tafadhali as she makes her way.
Dear Excellencies, Honorables, all protocols observed. A recent NCIC survey revealed that the population rated the performance of IEBC with 65% satisfaction. This was the highest satisfaction rating given to any institution, higher even than the judiciary with 64%. The NCIC self, the police, or the international community. This is the best sign that IEBC performed and that there's increased trust in IEBC. So figures and numbers, they talk for themselves. Also, I would like to say that in the last elections, Kenyan citizens deserved 10 out of 10 for their stellar performance. They saved the elections. I would like to applaud all Kenyans for their firm commitment to peace, and this is the only way forward in any democracy. Kenyans stood out and they stood firm on the path towards democracy and rule of law. The EU Observer Mission assessed that these elections were conducted transparently and with high levels of professionalism and integrity. The recommendations that the EU Observer Mission has made will help us to support the process of the next 5 years in Kenya. And we should not let down. We should not let down. We have to build on the momentum that we have achieved now and build towards even better elections in 2027. And the EU will stand firmly at your side with any support you may need. On our priority list as EU, we were particularly stressing the participation of youth, women, and minorities. And on our to-do list is also to support the better regulation of campaign financing and to improve voter registrations. But there are many other areas to be worked on with different partners in this country. But I will be extremely brief. I just would like to thank the IEBC chairperson, Mr. Chebukati. He did an outstanding job, and also the commissioners, Professor Gille and Mr. Mule. Congratulations. You did a great service to Kenya. Your integrity in doing your job undeterred gives hope to millions of Kenyans, but also sets a new gold standard for democracy in Africa. And you are writing history today because you three, this trio, you are the first ones to complete the full constitutional term of 6 years. Congratulations, and all the best to all of you, and the EU will continue to support democracy and the IEBC in its reform towards 2027. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Just to reiterate what Ambassador said, Kenyans deserve 10 out of 10 for their commitment to peace and democracy. I think we should clap for that. All right, next up is Evans Misati, who's the chairperson, PPLC. Makofi tafadhali. As Evans makes his way, I'd like to inform you that we are doing very well on time. We have a few more speakers, and then we get to the lodge. Evans Misati tafadhali. Okay, since I'm seeing no movement, to welcome Mule Musau, who's the National Coordinator, ILOG, for his reflections and remarks. Makofi tafadhali as Mule makes his way.
Happy New Year. Allow me to write on the protocols which have been observed by Mr. Marjan. And let me start with a comment that the EU has just decided I'm a commissioner. Well, I'm very sure the ambassador meant Commissioner Molu. He said Commissioner Mule. These are good wishes. And secondly, I saw the choir today. I think it makes us reminisce what happened in Bomas. So, thank you very much, IEBC, for inviting us to this particular occasion. We are honored to be here. On behalf of the Election Observation Group, my steering committee, and the rest of the members across the country, we want to congratulate you on the launch of the evaluation report. This comes at a very handy and timely time because it's coming quite early after the end of the election. And it also offers the country an opportunity, therefore, to be able to reflect much more broadly about the election that happened in preparation for the election which is coming. As ELOG, we launched our report last month. We have other actors who launched their report also a month ago, and others like the EU are still coming on the way. So we hope that all these reports, together with what IEBC has given today, will be able to form the basis of an agenda for electoral reform, and we have a very short window. The political sobriety moment is only about a year. We have new parliamentarians, we have new leadership, we have a new chair of the Council of Governors. We need to reach out to these people to be able to implement the new policies, the new issues that need to be taken up on board. From our observation, since 2010, when ELOG has been on board, we have seen incremental gains in our elections. We've actually been improving, but there's still more that needs to be done. We believe, for instance, that there is a wider reflection on some of the issues that affect our elections. Like, for instance, the electoral system itself. How do we get the two-thirds gender issue solved if we don't resolve the question to do with the electoral process or the electoral system? So those are reflections that perhaps we need to have. As we read the report, we'll be looking out for such recommendations and keep talking with each other. Lastly, I want to thank the IEBC for the support they've given us through the chair and the commission. The very many returning officers in all parts of the country who we have worked with over the period in which we were able to observe the elections, they supported as well. and we were able, therefore, to gather evidence that is in our report. And very lastly, my best wishes to the chair, outgoing chair, Chebukati, who I knew from quite when we were very new in the job. I think we met somewhere in Lesotho, if you remember, when we were very fresh on the job, but you've grown in stature to be able to lead some very high-tension elections in this country and being able to deliver. And together with Commissioner Bolu, Commissioner Guliwe, we wish you well in the rest of the endeavors that you'll be having. I thank you.
Well, a better round of applause for Mule. Now that we're all doing reflections, I think it's important to buttress the point that the Bomas Choir should be part of the report and part of the reflections. If they're not there, then I think we'll meet up our problems. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to welcome to the podium already Anthony Ngorano's resident representative UNDP for his reflections and remarks. Markovit Fadali.
Good morning, everybody. It really gives me great pleasure to be here today on a momentous occasion that sees not just the launch of this evaluation report, but also, as previous speakers have indicated, a milestone, a turning point, a recognition to not just the chairman and the two outgoing commissioners, but the entire IEBC. I come from the region, I come from the Republic of Rwanda. I can tell you Kenya remains more than ever the envy of the region, the envy of Africa, the pride of Africa. And I really want to take this opportunity to say thank you. The post-election evaluation process, of course, is a cornerstone in the continuous strengthening of Kenya's electoral management system, and within it holds really the nucleus of a long-term vision that has become so important and is really a precondition to ensure that the entire electoral cycle results in a better election, or at least qualitatively a stronger election in terms of what we see in 2027. Therefore, we look forward to further engage with the report findings and recommendations, as these will inform strategies for, as I said, the next general election. We applaud the leadership of the IEBC in conducting the selection process and integrating really a genuinely multi-stakeholder approach that involved electoral stakeholders, including the national government, institutions, political parties, constitutional commissions, independent officers, and civic and other non-state actors. This multi-stakeholder approach ensures that the perspectives of a wide range of electoral actors are captured and that the lessons and recommendations will serve to inform IEBC's strategies as the country plans for the new electoral cycle. The peaceful outcome of the 2022 general elections has become, of course, an enabler for continued peace, stability, and development in Kenya. And with support of the various development partners, we are really proud as UNDP as having walked this journey with all of you. Importantly, we appreciate the sustained engagement and support of UNDP's development partners that grounded UNDP's electoral assistance and the broader democratic governance support. Key partners here who made this possible include the European Union, the United Kingdom, Germany, Italy, Ireland, Denmark, and the UN Peacebuilding Fund, who have remained steadfast in their support for Kenya's democratization journey. Their contributions and continuous engagement are a true investment in democracy and peace in Kenya, which will advance sustainable human development for all. The findings and recommendations that will be presented today by the IEBC will inform the way forward, including priorities, approaches, and concrete actions that ideally will be embraced and materialized under a collaborative approach once again between the IEBC, other independent institutions, state and non-state actors. Among the key considerations from the recent experience in supporting IEBC and other national actors, as UNDP, we see the need to increase the participation of women and youth in the electoral process, notably in the nomination of candidates. We call on political parties and their leaders to enhance and to increase the interests of women and youth so as to see a higher participation and turnout in the next elections. Both women and youth should not fear but enlist with political parties in the future and fight, or join in the fight for equal representation and champion their rights. To conclude, let me reassure you that UNDP, together with our development partners, remain fully committed to continue supporting Kenya's electoral management body and other electoral stakeholders in the post-election period and beyond, in alignment with the electoral cycle approach. I thank you all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just to keep up with the time, allow me to welcome to the podium for reflections Philemon Sabule, who's the chairperson, County Assemblies Forum. Makofi tafadhali kwa Philemon.
Okay, that's okay. So thank you so much. His Excellency, the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, the chairperson of IEBC, Mr. Wafula Chebukati, the Deputy Speaker of Senate, who is present here today with us, the chairperson of COG, Excellency Waiguru, the commissioners of IEBC present here today, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Philemon Sabule, the chairperson of County Assemblies Forum, and we are truly privileged and pleased that we are here today, being one of the key stakeholders on matters of election in this republic. As the representative of the largest beneficiaries of the electoral process, with a total of 2,237 members, it gives me great pleasure to join you this morning at the official launch of the IEBC post-election evaluation report. I would like to offer my sincere appreciation to the commission led by Chairperson Mr. Wafula Chebukati for the steadfast leadership and stewardship in handling of the 2022 general elections. I also wish to appreciate the Commission Secretariat and all Kenyan men and women who contributed to the success of the general elections. Thank you for your commitment and dedication to this very important and very difficult task. The evaluation report, whose launch we are here to witness today, is an assessment of the conduct of the 2022 general elections and an avenue to establish what worked and what did not work as expected, and what could have been done better and the lesson learned for the future elections. It is gratifying to note that IEBC involves stakeholders in the development of this report, thus taking into considerations the concerns of interested parties and ensuring that the process is in line with the letter and spirit of our Constitution. With this level of consultation, I am positive that the report will play an important role in improving the conduct of the general elections in the future. Distinguished guests, we have to agree the conduct of any electoral activity cannot be deemed to be over until the post-election evaluation has been concluded. Each general election held in this country has facilitated Kenyans to exercise their most important duty of electing a democratic government, and I have to admit that even the constitution of CAF is as a result of this democratic process. It is in this reasoning we have to appreciate the resilience of the Commission in overcoming challenges, in maintaining institutional integrity, adhering to numerous court rulings, and balancing the interests of various stakeholders, such as political parties and the general public as a whole. It is positive to note that these challenges have made the IEBC better and will continue to get better in the coming elections. Distinguished guests, we agree also that other government institutions, IEBC have done well in developing its functions, at least to the sub-county level, which has enhanced their operations and service delivery. As the chairperson, as the champion of devolution, we cannot take this lightly, and we have noticed the improvement during the just concluded general elections. The Commission was quick and diligent in responding to issues that were raised by candidates and the electorate. Finally, we hope that this evaluation report will strengthen the corporate governance and practices, especially on the rules and the structures of the Commission. I thank you all, and I wish the chairperson and the commissioners the very best, even as they proceed to other endeavors in this country. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Well, a better round of applause for Philemon Sabule, chairperson. County Assemblies Forum.
The chief guest, the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Justin Muturi, the Chairman of IEBC and the Commissioners, the Chair Council of Governors, and all other protocols observed. I know we have many dignitaries and many people who are here today. I want to take, first of all, this singular moment to thank God for the far that we have gone as a country, and when we come to launch an electoral report, we really thank God that we are here as a country, peaceful and progressing, and doing what we are supposed to be as a nation. I also want to thank the Electoral Commission who are used to really bring us where we are through a credible and a peaceful electoral process. I note that we collaborated in many ways with the Electoral Commission, and we were working when the law had just changed in the beginning of the year 2022, and there were many areas that we had to collaborate in a new framework. And I want to thank the Commission for the support and working together. However, I want to note that some of the areas that need to be harmonized still exist, and I know the report may raise some of them. We worked under circumstances when the Political Parties Act was amended. We had walked the journey together with IEBC to amend the Election Act. However, the Elections Act finally was not amended. So some gaps were left, and it looked like there are areas that looked like they were duplicated. Yet we had corrected them in the Elections Act that was supposed, because we had worked together. So I want to ask Parliament, probably this is the high time, early in the electoral cycle, when we look at those gaps and complete the process of amendment of the Elections Act, so that it is completely in harmony with other laws, and then check what is not harmonized properly. I also want to commend political parties. Why I am here is because I'm the registrar of political parties. I want to commend them for presenting candidates. We had over 16,000 candidates, over 11,000 of them were presented by political parties. And I want to commend political parties for really going through the vigorous process of nomination and coming up with candidates. And as stakeholders and main stakeholders of the electoral process, they did a fantastic job. It could not be perfect because there are gaps that still exist, but we can attest that the party nominations, courtesy of the change of law, are more friendly, more peaceful, and more inclusive, as opposed to other areas. But I still note that there are areas, especially in party nomination, that has been noted here, that still need a lot of improvement. We brought on board issues of consensus. We brought on board where parties can do delegates and all that, as opposed to first suffrage, which is a better way of looking at political party nominations. However, we need regulations and a framework that then ties them on how the process will be done, so that it is free and fair to the extent that every person feels comfortable in the process. I want to also note that the dispute resolution this time, especially at the political party level, also really was responsive. We had parties sitting down because the IDRMs were strengthened and the elections board were better strengthened as compared to the last election. I also want to note the Dispute Resolution Committee of IEBC, which was also inclusive and included the Office of Registrar of Political Parties. We sat with them so that this post-election period, we saw very few cases that related to political party membership. And I want to continue urging the IEBC to continue working with other stakeholders because it brought down almost to nil cases that were there after 2017 as compared to now. We are almost nil, especially that relates to party membership and participation. Finally, I want to say, as we celebrate all this, my only one thing I request the election fraternity is to make the election process such smooth and such responsive that the returning officers of this country and people working where the rubber meets the road will feel very comfortable, and every electoral official, whether working in the Electoral Commission or elsewhere, will feel very comfortable and not threatened at any one point. Because we are speaking from a perspective, even as we celebrate this, that we lost a returning officer. So if we have to improve in the next election cycle, is to make the electoral process very comfortable and very threat-free, so that every person leaves the electoral process uninjured and also with his family, goes back to his family. I think that is my only prayer. And in conclusion, allow me to wish the chairman a fruitful retirement from IEBC. I know you are not retiring from working. You are of great value. And the two commissioners, we want to congratulate you for taking us through this process and also standing up in the moment of need for this country. May God continue blessing you and guide your steps as you leave the commission to other serious endeavors. Thank you so much.
Well, a better round of applause for Registrar, and she brings us to a very good moment where I have to, it will be a lie if I don't have a running mate in this conversation. I'd like to now introduce my running mate, OGW, Madam Tabitha, to continue with the rest of the program. I will come back. Chairman, you've not seen the last of me. You promised an interview and you're still the chairman, so you have about 1 day for us to do this interview. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome my running mate, OGW Tabitha, to carry on with the rest of the program.
Thank you very much, James Smart. And thank you, Madam Ruto, for calling out for threat-free general election in future for the election officials so that they're able to go back home safe and sound. Allow me to welcome Madam Judy Lamet, Assistant Inspector General of National Police Service. Please come and give your remarks. Is she here? Thank you.
The Honorable Attorney General, Honorable Justin Muturi, the Chairperson of IEBC, Mr. Wafula Chebukati, Her Excellency Anne Waiguru, the Chairperson, Council of Governors, Anne Derito, Registrar of Political Parties, Philemon Sabulei, the Chairperson's County Security Forum, Anthony Gararano, Resident Representative of UNDP, IEBC Commissioners, and all protocols observed. I'm here representing the Inspector General of the National Police Service, who has sent his apologies. He could not make it. He's on other national duties. During the elections, during and after, we did not use even one single bullet or tear gas. This was achieved through elections preparedness. A lot of training was done from the lowest cadre up to the regional police commanders on the police role when it comes to elections in the country. And this training was done together with other stakeholders, the friendly forces. We included them, the prisons, the NYS, because they also form part of elections security. We were involved in the guarding of the ballot boxes, the polling centers, escorting even the boxes, and even the results up to the tallying center. We need to thank